Broadcasting by way of Gallifrey. Stand by for podcasts. This is Voices from the Vortex.
Voices from the Vortex Review, Series 8, Episode 3, Robot of Sherwood.
I feel like a merry man today. How are you?
Yay, verily, yay.
Verily indeed. Oh.
Hello, my good man. It is I,
Shall
Taylor.
And it is I, his merry companion. Wait, that sounded rad. It is I, Matt.
Hello, Matt.
And I feel like laughing, scoffing indeed at the things of life that bring me down. Ha 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 ha.
Hello, everyone out there in the interwebs.
Enjoying a wonderful week. We're in the middle of some really great Doctor Who stuff.
We are.
How's everyone doing out there?
Today we're going to be talking about the Robots of Sherwood.
Dun 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 dun.
Yes. Very, very good. It's just hilarious and fun and silly and Doctor Who is what it was. It was fantastic.
It really was. Guys, we've been talking about it now for a couple of weeks, and, Deep Breath was good. It was such a good introduction. And Into the Dalek was good because it's a Dalek story, of course, but really, this episode feels like the first episode of the season. It feels like we have hit a stride now. The comedy was just on. The Doctor is getting into a form of who he's going to be, and I really like that he finally started feeling a little bit.
Yeah.
Started feeling what he's gonna feel about when things happen to him. It seems like he was affected by the events of this episode.
Yeah. First off, I want to say I feel really stupid because last week and all the other times when we talked about this episode, we were like, Robot of Sherwood. What is that? I don't understand. What does that mean? Okay, well, I figured it out. It's a play on words of Robin of Sherwood, which coincidentally was the name of the sort of Robin Hood show that they did where Patrick Troughton played Robin Hood.
Really?
Yes, and I don't know if you saw it, but did you see the cameo of that? It was when they're on the computer and they were looking at all the stills of the different kinds of Robin Hoods. One of them, it was like a black and white photo. It was Patrick Troughton, which I thought was really neat. Oh, this one was written by Mark Gatiss. Which I kind of have a yes no with Mark Gatiss because like he writes for Sherlock, which is great. I love Sherlock, but then he also wrote the Crimson Horror last season, which was like my least favorite last season. And you can go listen to that episode if you want to hear our discussion on that one. But but yeah, no, but he did fantastic in this one, and I really liked it. I feel like there were a couple parts that were cheesy, but they weren't too cheesy. It was just the perfect amount.
There was a lot though about this episode that was I thought stretched a little bit of the suspension of disbelief, even for Doctor Who. And I know I'm famous for telling you that, well, if you can buy the fact that a man can travel through time, is that really the problem? But There are a couple things here. Everything was very campy and over the top, which is fine. It's a fun story, except that they were making such a big deal about the fact that nobody could be that campy and over the top, and that's not possible, and nobody acts like that. And they didn't really address it other than, nope, it really is. This guy's really Robin Hood. He really is a ridiculous idiot who laughs at everything and apparently can just shoot arrows at stuff randomly and, not even have to look. I felt like they missed that one little bit of a scene where we find out that nope, he's not real. He's not actually. He's Robin. He's a robot. And that makes perfect sense. But we didn't, and I don't know. There's just this real suspension of disbelief to this that was really stretched to a point where I was almost ready to pack it in and say nope, done. It was that final moment between Robin and the Doctor that I liked.
Yeah, that was the whole point. It was, impossible heroes do exist, and they inspire heroism in others, and that's the sort of the lesson learned there. And one thing is interesting about the Doctor in this episode that I wanted to talk about with you is over the last couple of episodes, well, the only episodes we've had, but he's been kind of going through somewhat of an identity crisis almost.
Yes.
You know, last episode it was, am I a good man? And this one it's, you know, I'm not a hero and all this stuff, and, you know, heroes don't exist. And, you know, 10 and 11 and even 9, they never would have said any of that stuff. I just feel like this is like a weird time in his life. He's trying to figure out who he is. It's like, well, you're the Doctor. What are you talking about? You know, you save people and you're smart and I don't know. What do you think's going on?
Well, there's a line from Deep Breath that really struck me where he's talking with a half-faced man's talking about the Promised Land, and he says, I'm never going to reach it. I know I'm never going to reach it. And I think that's sort of starting to frame the idea of this Doctor, of Capaldi, that he's 100% aware that everything he does now is just, it's affecting the world, it's affecting the universe the way he needs to. He has a chance to be responsible where he wasn't responsible before. And he's not really, he's accepting, like, this is just my lot in life. I'm going to die one day, and I just have to accept it. This is all we're ever going to get, is just, I can go back and fix my mistakes.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of guilt in him.
But there's not, he doesn't show any guilt. It doesn't seem like he's not fixing mistakes. He's just going around doing stuff. And he's like, you know.
If anything, he's more careless, I feel like.
A little, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like he...
I don't know. There's this sort of this... Unless there's just something else going on under the hood there, unless he is aware of more. I don't think he is. I think this is just being written as the new status quo, that he feels a need to... He feels a need to try and do great, good things, but then he keeps saying, I'm not a hero, and I'm not going to end up in paradise. There's no heaven waiting for me. What does it matter? You know, but then he's turns around and he says, but I have to do this. I have to make a good Dalek. I have to do it. I have to see if it's possible. You know, I was like, why? You don't care. Everyone I've talked to about this, and everyone seems to have this opinion that he's okay, but there's just something, they can't put their finger on it. There's just something about him that's driving them crazy, and they can't figure it out. There's just something that's keeping them from liking this Doctor, and I think that's it. I think it's, he doesn't show any sign of wanting to be more than just a traveler, and we're so used to a heroic Doctor. You know, Matt Smith and David Tennant were American-style heroes. They really were. They'd run into an issue, and they'd be like, all right, now how can we do this? And there was a lot of running around, a lot of energy, a lot of youth to it. And all of a sudden, we've just put the brakes on it, and now we're I don't know, guy in his midlife crisis? Guy in his...
Yeah.
It's like a young man in his 20s trying to figure out what he wants to do after college, and he's also a man in a midlife crisis trying to figure out how to get older. And I'm like, dude, you're 2,000 years old. Just, you used to be a hero. You are a superhero. Get over it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting.
He also seems a little stupid. I hate to say that about the Doctor, but you just...
Well, yeah, I think I agree with you on that one. Yeah, you just like, it's like I said, it's like, you're the Doctor, dude. I mean, that's who you are. Yeah. You've been a hero. You've saved so many people. Why are you acting now like you're not sure who you are? You know what I mean?
He lands...
What happened?
He doesn't believe Robin Hood exists. He lands there, and Robin Hood's there. He gets to the little area with the merry men, and it's like all of a sudden he's like, he doesn't know how to prove that they're not real. I feel like every other Doctor would have just kind of moved on, or would have accepted something else is going on and said, okay, let's just do what we got to do.
He didn't move on to the very end. I mean, he still wasn't sure until the very, very end.
But like the dude's Robin Hood. He's right there.
Yeah.
And he didn't give a reason why he wasn't. He didn't say, you're not Robin Hood because no one would wear clothes that clean. You're not Robin Hood because no one would have that beard. You know, he wasn't talking about him. He was just saying, you're not Robin Hood because Robin Hood isn't real. Really? Dude, you fought the Loch Ness Monster. Dude, there were dinosaurs. You've traveled to... You've literally seen... I can't even... There's so much stuff he's done to prove that the impossible exists. There's a line at the end with Clara where he asks Clara, when did you start believing in impossible heroes? And she says, really? She looks at him like, wait, what, come on.
Yeah.
I felt like he called her the impossible girl.
Yeah. I felt like he still didn't get it after that, after she said that. He said, really? Don't you know? And then I don't feel like he made the connection.
Something is so off. Something is so off here. And I don't know if it's the writing. I don't know if it's Moffat's hand in it. I don't know if it's something secret going on or if it's just Capaldi playing it, but
I think it's some character development going on. I think it's really strong right now. This sort of maybe a change he's going through, something he's trying to figure out, and maybe that's it. Maybe it's something that just instead of happening in one episode, it's happening over the course of the season, and it's kind of making us go, "What's going on?"
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe. We did get a reference in this episode to the Promised Land. We did not see someone go to heaven to see Missy.
No.
But we did get a pretty big teaser that this place is a physical place. The planet, perhaps.
I'm thinking, here's my theory. I'm thinking maybe Gallifrey or something? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Seems simple.
It seems too simple, but, I mean, there was that planet. It said the Promised Land, and there was a planet behind it.
Yeah.
It was kind of red. I thought...
There are no other red planets in the universe.
It's the only one
There is Mars and Gallifrey.
It's the only
All
one.
others are blue. Blue, I say.
As serious as he kind of was a little bit, there was a lot of... I was glad he was more lighthearted in this one, too. The last two episodes have been super serious, and it was good to see, this is what he's going to be like when he's, silly and fun and all that stuff.
It kind of was. He was grumpy silly.
I mean, he sword fought with a spoon.
Okay, see, and this is where that suspension of disbelief is being stretched. Like, the dude he's actively against witty banter, but he's okay to sword fight with a spoon.
And those sound effects were not matched at all. Like a sword hitting a spoon would not make that noise. It was sword noises.
I get it that we want to change up the style. Is this too much of a putting the brakes on how the show was? It's Matt Smith and David Tennant were so energetic. We're kind of reverting back to to Eccleston and actually going backwards even more. We're going back to Tom Baker.
I feel like he's really Hartnell. Like, he's so First Doctor.
You think Hartnell?
I do. I can see Hartnell saying these lines and talking this way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's where maybe a lot of his inspiration might be coming from. He's kind of going back to the beginning a little bit.
Sure.
But I really see it. I don't know. For some reason, and maybe it's because it was the only, I've only seen Hartnell and Troughton really in full, full episodes a lot. But that's the one I see the most is Hartnell so far.
There's a lot of Colin Baker in him. There's a lot of Tom Baker in him. I think Moffat's really big on trying to get back to not just the Darker Doctor, but the idea of the Doctor's doing secret stuff. That he's always got plans on plans. He's a mysterious character. We really don't know what he's thinking or what he's doing. And to illustrate that, he's got the Doctor very... he doesn't care about humans the way the other Doctors have. And that's very Hartnell, yes. But he's also very arrogant. I know what I'm doing, and I know what's going on, and nobody else knows. How dare you tell me otherwise? Which is very Colin Baker. He's very... It's a drama. It's not really an action, so he doesn't want to do the action. He just wants to investigate, figure it out, and be done. He's got a little bit of joyousness, like when he found the alien spaceship, and he gets inside, he's like, ooh, look at all this.
Yeah.
That's some Tom Baker in there, which is nice. He's very excited. It is very classic Who. I'm just worried that, classic Who's got a good place in my heart and my past, but New Who's been so much better. Been so good, so energetic, and it didn't just take the old stuff and say, well, let's keep going with that. It said, what if we amped it up a little bit? What if the Doctor had purpose and meaning to it? And to begin with, Russell T Davies, his era was Time Lords and Gallifrey. Gallifrey was gone, so now he feels pain. and pain propelled him. And then when we get to Matt Smith, it wasn't pain that was propelling him as much as this need to be young and boyish because he was at the end, he was old. So those are two different things. And then we get through Moffat's era so far with all of that with Matt Smith, and then we get to Capaldi, and it's like no, let's pull him back. He's an old guy, so let's slow him down and make it so it's not as adventurous. I'm missing that. I miss that. Matt Smith's first episode, which introduced that I Am the Doctor theme, which introduced who he was going to be, which gave us so many good moments of him just having to kick it in gear and not lay down for an episode. And all of Smith's era has been like that. And we get to Capaldi, and it's like there's nothing there. I don't feel that. I don't feel the wind up. I don't feel like it's building, and I'm worried. That's where I'm at. 3 episodes in, and it's not feeling like we've gotten far.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's my worry. That's my fear.
As much as I love Matt Smith, though, I have to admit, at first I wasn't sure.
Sure.
I feel like this might be the same deal. And even with Tenet, I wasn't sure. And it wasn't. And we've talked about this a lot, but it wasn't until the end of Eccleston's run that I was sad to see him go. I was like, oh no, I'm just starting to really like him. And then when Tenet, I didn't really get into Tenet. I mean, I liked him at first, but then I felt like by the end of season 2, it was like, yeah, he's great, And then by the end of season 5, I was like, Matt Smith, he's awesome, So I'm hoping this is just the same post-regeneration jitters that everyone's having, like, I'm not sure about him,
Look, this is the hardest thing about this show, and it's people regenerate. The Doctor regenerates, and that's great. Absolutely. You need to revitalize the show every couple of seasons. You need to change it up. And it doesn't have to be every season or every other season, but, David Tennant was great, but he had his time. It was time to move on. Matt Smith was great. Sure, it was time to move on. Eccleston cut a little short. I get it, and it's sad, but, his time has its feel to it. But, I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe that's just it. Maybe it's just this post-regeneration jitters, like you say. I just worry because I listen to Moffat talk. I see what he wants. I see how he wants the show to be, and he's hearkening back to all this stuff. And I'm thinking that's great if you want to incorporate that. But guys, there's a reason that's not the show anymore. There's a reason New Who works. There's a reason people love Matt Smith.
Yeah, it changed with the time.
It did.
The way television is now.
And I don't know. Maybe this could just be a very long build-up, and that's fine. I know Moffat loves to do these multi-seasonal story arcs. I still feel we're going to find out who Prisoner Zero is in the next couple of seasons. Like, I feel like that's still an open question, and he's even said that's an open question.
Could be.
So that's 4 seasons that you've waited for that answer.
Yeah.
But
well, answer me. How many times did you watch? Have you watched any of the episodes more than once?
Of the show, Deep Breath.
Okay.
I did watch Deep Breath twice. I watched Into Dalek once, and Robot of Sherwood. I really enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, guys. I love this episode. I really do. Of the 3, this is by far the best. And it was funny. It was action oriented. I'm gonna want to watch it again. I love the scenes inside the TARDIS. I love seeing this new TARDIS. I loved Robin Hood's costume and character. I really did.
Mm-hmm.
And you
well,
can see
the only reason I ask that is because I know for me, sometimes when I'm watching something for the first time, especially something like this, it's hard for me to get out of my own head. I'm like, ooh, what's that? Ooh,
sure.
Why did he say that? Ooh, is this going to be something for next episode or something? I'm like that. So then when I watch it again, I enjoy it more because I'm more focused on the emotion of the story and the way the characters are, and these episodes are much better the second time I watch them because I'm out of my head. I'm just enjoying it as an episode. So now when I go back and watch the 11th Hour, I love it. I think 11th Hour is one of the best episodes of Doctor Who ever.
I agree.
But when the first time I watched it, I was like in my head about, am I going to like this guy? No, Tennant wouldn't have done that, and this and that, So I feel like once we get to the end, maybe the end of this season, and we're like, yeah, Capaldi, he's so great. We'll go back and watch these first episodes and be like, oh, see, yeah, that's great. Oh, that's so great. Oh, well, he had to act this way because this is coming. I think that's my hope anyway. That's what I'm hoping for.
Well, and I have no doubt that I'm going to end up liking any of this stuff. All of it. I'm just a Doctor Who nerd. So of course I love it, but it didn't take me this long. Here's what it is. It did not take me this long for Eccleston. I loved Eccleston right off the bat. It did not take me this long with Tennant. I loved Tennant right after that first episode. Same thing with Smith. I don't have to go back and rewatch the first episodes of any of these Doctors to force myself to say, well, maybe this wasn't as good when I first watched it. I have fallen in love with each of them each time, and I've really enjoyed it. I love Stephen Moffat's work. And his era with Smith is phenomenal. It's a different era from Russell T Davies, so it's I don't know. It's just we're 3 episodes in, and I still don't have a handle on how I feel about this guy, and that irks me a little. I don't want to have this feeling. I want to love him.
Well, and I don't think it's Capaldi.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think he's doing great.
He's doing good. He's doing very good. He's very...
It's different.
Hostile.
Yeah.
He's very hostile.
It's really different. So I think...
Well, it's not different. It's just... He's not responding the way the Doctors have. These episodes are just like the stuff from Smith's era.
Yeah.
The season 7? This is season 7 part 2. I have yet to see an episode here that I don't think Matt Smith could have done this episode.
Oh, he could have totally done this episode. He would have reacted a little different, but he could have.
He would have been a little more joyous. He would have enjoyed meeting Robin Hood. I don't know. That's where I'm at. I'm worried. It's episode 3, and I haven't fallen in love with this guy the way I fell in love with the other 3. So I'm just worried. That's all. I'm gonna have to take this relationship slow, and we're gonna have to see where it goes.
Stay slow, baby.
We're gonna date a little bit. And we're gonna see what happens. A couple of dinners, maybe a trip to the Science Center. I don't know what.
Don't want to rush anything.
No, I'm not even inviting him back to my apartment yet. Okay, that's gonna be like 9th or 10th date. We are taking this really slow. There's no Netflix marathon with this guy. We're not gonna cuddle.
Yeah.
Okay. I gotta know he's in it to win it.
Well, let's move on. I want to talk about some things that I thought. That was a good conversation. I really want to talk to you about that.
Good, yeah.
Okay, this episode was kind of funny the way it started because I thought, this is just it just started like business as usual. They were just in the TARDIS, and he was like, "Where do you want to go? Pick anywhere."
Right.
I mean, this episode could have been put anywhere in the season. It was so open and closed ended. Another thing I liked too was the TARDIS after it got hit with an arrow, it healed itself. Did you see that?
I did see that. Yeah.
He pulled the arrow out, and it was like. I thought that was really cool because that's something I've never seen.
Well, and that makes a sort of sense because we see so much happen to the TARDIS, and we ask ourselves, we wonder how does it fix itself? How does it get better? He broke the window when he crash landed on Trenzalore in the name of the Doctor. How did that get fixed? You know, and obviously the TARDIS healed itself.
Yeah, but Matt Smith has to change the light bulb.
Right. It still needs a little TLC, man. It's still the TARDIS.
Yeah. Also, he likes apples again. Hooray!
Yeah. No, now hold on. He didn't like apples until Amy had an apple with a little smiley face on it. And then he was totally about it. He understood. He loved apples.
I don't remember him eating an apple, though.
He didn't eat an apple. He didn't have to eat it to like it.
He could like something, but I just mean he was okay with the taste now. I don't know.
I enjoy electricity. I don't eat it. Okay. No. You're right. Matt Smith did that thing at the beginning where there was so much stuff. He's like, nope. I'm only going to eat fish fingers and custard ever. So.
One of my favorite lines at the beginning I thought was really funny was Clara comes out of the TARDIS, and Robin Hood goes, he's like, whoa, and he's like, are there any more in there? that made me laugh. I like that one.
I did enjoy that. I like the whole. How'd you pull that trick off, sir? With mirrors? Well, it's mine now.
Yeah, I saw it at a Turkish monks or something who did it. Yeah, whatever he said.
I really liked the maid Marian. in this. You had no idea who this girl was until the very end. And then, of course, it turns out it's the story for Robin Hood. And I like that she was there. I like that she helped. I like that she was a part of it. And we didn't have to know her name. We had no idea who she was. I thought that was really cute. Everything you ever watch or see with Robin Hood, it makes Maid Marian out to be, she's a princess, and she's not. She's Maid Marian, but she's a princess, and she's in a castle. And
I'm not gonna lie, I totally did not get that until you just said it.
Really?
That was the girl from earlier. She was in the dungeons with the doctor.
Yeah.
No idea. Okay, well.
Her father dies at the very beginning.
I feel really stupid.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
For some reason, I didn't think it was the same girl. I don't know.
He had a picture of her in his locket.
Well, right. At the end, I just figured, they just found Maid Marian and brought her to the forest.
That made no sense.
Yeah, so that's why I thought it was weird. But okay, now it makes total sense.
Who do you think the girl was?
Just some peasant girl who was helping him out. I don't know. I feel dumb. All right, moving on.
Oh, no, don't feel dumb. No, it's fine. That's funny.
The interesting one about this one was it was a historical episode, but Clara just blabbed the whole. She admitted to just knowing everything. Oh yeah, you're Robin Hood. Usually they're with Donna and what's her name? The writer.
Agatha Christie,
yeah. The doctor's don't. It hasn't been written yet. All this stuff.
Oh yeah.
Hush. Don't tell him who you are. But Claire just blabbed the whole. She's oh yeah, I know you are Maid Marian. There's a sheriff, and I know everything. I thought that was interesting. And even trying to stop, he's there's a archery thing, and she goes, oh, don't go, it's a trap. I'm what are you doing, Clara? You're not. Are you trying to change the story, or what are you doing?
Well, and that's actually a really good point. That's a thing about this episode, because Robin Hood is not historical. It's a story. Right. It's not real. It's Santa Claus, and it.
Well, he is now, apparently.
Wow.
According to Mark Gatiss.
According to the BBC, worldwide news, this actually happened. Anything that happened that's written on Doctor Who is historical.
Yes.
Daleks and all.
Yes.
No, yeah, but it's because he's not real. So I to a point, see, and that makes me wonder too. Did she really think he was real, or was she egging on the Doctor? She wanted to meet this character. He took her somewhere where he swore the character didn't exist. All of a sudden, the character's there, and she's just oh, this is Christmas. Oh, yeah. My God, I got the Doctor. And so she's saying all these things, from the story, and Robin Lockley's well, how do you know? And she's just excited because it's a book. It's a story. It's not real. And I that's why I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop, where it was oh, you're really in a theme park. And these are cosplayers.
Yeah.
It's not really Robin Hood.
Yeah, I think that was the whole point, was to get us to be all right, something's going to be, and then it just turns out, no, it is real.
Yeah.
It's just kind of magical a little bit, it's kind of fun, I think. I don't know.
What's he going to do next? Is he going to go find Beowulf and fight the Grendel?
No, I don't know.
Let's just spend a season finding fictional characters.
They go to the North Pole. And
I'm so I can't deliver all these presents. I don't have a sack to put them in. Hold on, Time Lord Science.
But if Robin Hood doesn't exist, then maybe the Doctor doesn't exist.
Yeah, that was my favorite part of the episode. Very end there.
Yeah.
Where it was, legends can exist.
Yeah, I also liked the line too. It was history, or the stories make it fly, or something like that.
Yeah.
I really like that. That was a nice sentiment.
Well, and that's interesting too, because if Robin Hood was real and he's just legend, he's just a story now, but he's okay with the fact that no one will remember him as who he is. He's more interested in people remembering him as the legend. And that's interesting too, because that's sort of where the Doctor is. I mean, I know that's what they were getting at with this, but that's exactly where the Doctor is right now. Is he's got all of this history, and he's okay with with the universe thinking he's just legend, and maybe that's a part of who Capaldi is. He doesn't want to be known. He doesn't want to be remembered. He just wants to be legend. The things he's doing, he's not doing because he's compassionate to do it. He's not being pulled to do it. He's not being forced to do it. He's doing them because it'll leave a great story behind. Maybe that's what he's trying to do.
Yeah. This episode was it seemed really predictable at first, like what was going to happen. You know, it was like the whole story of Robin Hood, and then they go to the archery tournament, and then all of a sudden the Doctor shoots the arrow.
Yeah.
And the whole episode just went crazy. I feel like it went just crazy bananas from there.
Yeah.
Because they kept shooting arrows, and then the Doctor, and then the part that made me laugh so hard was when the Doctor goes, "All right, this is getting silly," and he blew the target up. Oh my god!
How did the sonic screwdriver do that?
I don't know. I laughed so hard though
at that. Blow stuff up.
And then and then robot guards, and then the other part too, where he goes, he surrenders, and he's like, "What?" And he goes, "Ha!" and karate chops his arm, and makes him drop his sword. It was so funny. And I was like, "Oh, this is good." Now, then I was really excited. I was like, "Oh, this is getting good." So one thing too that I thought was funny was sort of all the stuff he had in his pockets. It was kind of like the Fourth Doctor in that, you know, he's like pulling all this stuff out of his coat. You know, he had the spoon, and he had this like high tech syringe thing that he used
to get the blood,
to take the blood off the guy.
Right.
But then also we got a really good close look at the screwdriver this time.
It is.
And it's the same.
It is. It's 11's. Yeah.
Yeah, but he doesn't flip it out anymore.
He also doesn't use it all that much. Not nearly as much as Matt Smith or David Tennant.
No. He used it a lot in this episode, but he didn't, like at the beginning he was scanning the hair and stuff. But, you know, he didn't flip it up and look at it. He just kind of like pointed it at it. He kept the prongs closed the whole time. So yeah, but it is this. It was obviously the same screwdriver.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is definitely.
If there was any doubt, now you know we know now.
Right.
Which still, I think they should have changed it. I think he should have had something different, something slick.
Well, they still might.
They might. I feel like we'll get to it in the promo, but I feel like maybe I'm not used to seeing it closed so often, but I feel like it looks a little different or something in the promo for the next one. Or, I don't know. It's sort of a weird look to it, but it's just because it's closed all the time. I don't know.
That could be. Well, and there's one of the synopsis that we read off during Deep Breath there. One of the synopsis we read off, one of the trailers actually talks about him giving his screwdriver to Clara for an adventure. Clara's on her own and she uses the screwdriver. So maybe he has to get a second. Maybe she's got one and he needs one too during that adventure. You know, so maybe we do see a new screwdriver come along, and he's you know, because he needs one. I don't know. So.
I just would love to see, you know, the TARDIS spit one out again. You're like, whoop. It's this slick silver pin with a blue light or something. I don't know. I think that'd be cool. Whatever. An orange light, you know, something different color, totally different color.
This episode had a lot of really good quotes, a lot of quotable stuff. The thing about banter was great. The whole in the dungeon with Robin Hood having to scream and moan and wail to get the guard to come in, and one of my favorite things is, and I think he just pooped himself. Yeah. And then after they knocked the guard out, Robin said, "Really?" And he goes, "Well, did you?"
Yeah.
It's just so like, really? It's just so neat.
It was really good, that whole dungeon scene where they were arguing and they were like calling for the guards. I mean, it was just, that whole scene was hilarious. One thing that I thought was funny too was the robots, who, I have a question about them in a second, but the robots, they spoke in like Renaissance talk. That was really interesting. They said the peasant creature is spent. Like, they used, like, they're robots from the future, but they used, like, Renaissance era words, you know, like.
Well, because they had to blend in. Remember, that was the thing with the computer. They had all this history of the human race and like their history, and because of where they landed, they picked a story that made sense. So they were blending in. The ship itself even turned itself into a castle, so that way they blend into that era. So they clearly they had to speak that way, so that way people wouldn't go, "Oh, look, futuristic robots."
Yeah, well,
or sort of defeats the purpose when they open their face
just...
and they're futuristic robots.
My question about them though is, were they just random? They were just some random new bad guy, or are they reminiscent of anything, or that you can think of?
I mean, they kind of reminded me of the villain from the original Thor movie.
Because we never found out who they actually were. They were just...
No idea.
A band of robots. They had no leader. I mean, the Sheriff of Nottingham, but he became the leader. You know what I mean?
What's really interesting to me is something I really liked watching in this. The Doctor even says it. This is the second time now he has seen robots of some sort trying to get to a place called the Promised Land. Keep in mind, the villain from Deep Breath were robots. And it's interesting that all of his villains this season, aside from the Dalek, have been robots, have been automatons.
Yeah. That is really weird.
I was really pleased with Clara in this episode. I don't know about you. I really liked everything about it from the very beginning, with just the glee she has about meeting Robin Hood, all the way up to how well she faced off against the sheriff. That scene with her in his chambers, and she gets the information from him, which really makes him look stupid that he wasn't figuring out what she was doing.
Yeah.
But that she manipulates him to get the information she wants. My God, Clara is just a different character this season.
You know what it was about this episode, too? Is it was like one of the first times that the companion had a request of somewhere to go, and they actually got to that place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, it's like usually they get somewhere, and Donna's like, "You said you were going to take me to the beach."
Okay, can I just point out, it took them like a season and a half to get a flight attendant to Heathrow Airport to catch a flight. But fictional character Robin Hood gets it in one.
And he's right there when they land, too.
He's standing there, shoots an arrow at them. Oh, hey, Robin Hood. Hey, what's going on? It's like a season and a half.
Yeah.
Cannot get her to her plane at Heathrow. Or Tegan.
We'll see later. Well, he did take 3 weeks to get coffee, but
he was busy with stuff.
Yeah. So far, it looks like he's, you know, like, got a pretty good command of the TARDIS now. He kind of knows what he's doing almost, especially when he flies it now. He's not running all over the place. He just flips the switch and then is like, "Let's go." Well,
do you remember, go all the way back to Rose, to the first episode, and when Eccleston flies the TARDIS, he's just sort of, he's moving around a little bit, and he's doing all this kind of weird stuff real quick. That first hop after they got the Mickey clone's head, and it melted, and he did a bunch of stuff, and it just hopped over real quick to the Piccadilly Circus or whatever. If you remember, TARDIS wasn't going crazy; it wasn't shaking around a lot, and in fact, a lot of the Eccleston with the TARDIS was very calm. It wasn't very crazy, unless they were like speeding into the Daleks or something, or chasing down Jack Harkness's ship thing, the medical transport. It was that first episode, the New Earth, where David Tennant says, you know, where are we going? Someplace we've never been before. He amps it up. He speeds it up because he was a younger, more exciting Doctor. And we've kept that where they are just flying like crazy everywhere they go. This time slowed it down again.
I don't think we're going to see Capaldi hit the thing with the mallet. You know, like, you know, that's never going to happen.
Or pull the little steamer thing out. They just keep the little lever, just keep pushing it back in.
Yeah.
With
yeah,
the lead on his
really,
face.
it's all just flip that switch and off we go, you know.
This is a lot more like the older doctors who would just like push buttons on the console and look at it and think, and then push buttons on another, and then look at it and think, and like, okay, how about this? And switch a toggle, and then they would land.
Let's see. One thing that when the sheriff had all the items of the doctors like on a little table, was that like a package of graham crackers or what was that?
I thought it was cheese.
It could have been cheese.
I thought that's what he got from Robin Hood. Honestly, I'm like, why would the doctor have cheese? Maybe Robin Hood had some packaged cheese.
I thought it was some graham crackers, man. He's been a snack and he gets hungry after.
It's just like an old man to have a packet of crackers or saltines in his jacket pocket. They've been in there ever since the Doctor and Clara went to Denny's, okay?
Yeah. The other thing, too, was it was weird seeing, like, Robin Hood on a spaceship, too. Like, that was really weird when they went. Like, it was historical, you know, costume period piece, settings, and then all of a sudden they were on, like, a blank gray spaceship.
Didn't you think it was a little weird when, like, the guards turned out to be, like, robots with killer cross beams in their faces?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the other thing, too, is, like the explosions in that setting, you know, that was weird, too. Like, a bunch of lasers and explosions.
So really? The spaceship, that's what you had a problem with?
No. I don't want to hear that from you.
Robin Hood in a spaceship, that's too far-fetched?
Let's see. I don't have much else, but I thought the gold circuitry, that reminded me of
from Pompeii, Pyrovilia.
Yeah, reminded me of the stone circuitry from Fires of Pompeii. And then also, the kiss on the cheek was interesting from, apparently, Maid Marian. Kissed him on the cheek. And he kind of had that moment where he was like, kiss on the cheek?
That was really
for me? And that kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier. He doesn't think he's a hero.
He doesn't.
And you know, I think that's what's going on with not this doctor, with the doctor right now. You know, whatever happened with Trenzalore and with Clara and now his new personality, he doesn't think he's a hero.
Right.
And that kiss on the cheek kind of took him back a little bit. He was like, I deserve this kiss on the cheek. What did I know?
There were two moments in this episode that I felt were real, where honest to goodness, the Doctor had a moment, had an emotion. That was one of them, because that look on his face, you're right, he doesn't understand. That was such a, Matt Smith would have gotten it. David Tennant would have gotten it. Eccleston would have gotten it. This guy you're right, the kiss on the cheek, and he just doesn't get how anyone could thank him. What did he do? He didn't do anything. That's what he's thinking. He's like, I didn't save you. You saved yourself.
He led a bunch of peasants with trays, and they destroyed all the robots.
Which brings up a really good point. Why didn't the robots just stop shooting? But
yeah.
Why not? Robin Hood in a spaceship, apparently. But the other moment too was at the end where Robin of Locksley is saying all these things. The Doctor, he goes, "Oh, you're a Time Lord from Gallifrey," and "Oh, you're the Doctor's time traveling alien." And he says, "How did you?" And Robin says, "Oh, Clara told me all about it." And he has this real powerful look on his face. She shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too. He kind of got real angry.
He has no sense of. This is the wrong term. I'm going to say it, and then I'm going to have the better term here in a second. He has no sense of self-respect. That's the wrong term. He has no concept of the value of what he's doing. Him saving these people means nothing to him. And he doesn't understand how important he's been, which makes me worry a little bit about this regeneration again, and that Does he understand that he's in a new cycle? Does he get that everything else that came before is a part of him? Or is there a part of him that left a lot of that behind? Maybe he did leave that behind in Trenzalore. Everything he was, he might have left a lot of that there and only taken with him a cursory understanding of who he is. I said the man who's not writing the series, so I have no idea what they're doing. But
right.
I just that moment, such a self-deprecating moment. That's unusual for the Doctor.
Well, and I think we're getting. I think they're going somewhere with this. And the only reason I say that is because there seems to be somewhat of a pattern of these kinds of moments. You know, am I a good man? You know.
Yeah.
And you know the whole first episode, and then this one. You know, Impossible Heroes. I guess I'm a hero. Claire thinks I'm her hero. Like, yeah, of course she does. That seems so simple. Like, he says, you know, you're her hero. You know that, right? And he's like, this is a foreign concept to him.
His actual response, by the way, was, "Whoa."
Whereas Matt Smith would have been like, "Oh, I know, I'm cool."
I know it, baby.
Shut up, Robin Hood. I know it.
Damn anti-pimping laws. It's a Bender reference for anyone who's not paying attention. Go watch Futurama if you don't know what we're doing.
Yes. Yeah, go watch the whole series and then come back and finish
it's shtick. We'll wait. Hold on. We'll wait. And we're back.
Oh, did you laugh? Did you cry? All right.
The one with the dog, let me tell you.
Jesus. All right, so Doctor Who.
Back to Doctor Who.
There
was like a week in there. We spent a week watching Futurama. No, I'm totally kidding, guys.
So yeah, and like the other thing too I thought was interesting, and they just didn't really mention it, and I guess it really didn't matter, but he knew that the spaceship was going to explode, but I guess he just assumed there was no way to stop it from taking off. You know what I mean? He was like, well, let's get it out of orbit and let it explode. But, you know, it destroyed all those robots and the spaceship. And, like, he didn't try to, like, talk them out of trying to take off or anything. He just was like...
Can you answer something for me? How did this one work? The ship's powered on gold. They had to melt down all this gold to make circuitry, which was used to power the ship, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to assume smelting the gold, turning it into gold, liquid gold that they could use to make into circuitry, that was somehow important enough to do to force the engine to work. That they had to install that to make the engine work. So a golden arrow just sticks out on the end of some random piece of metal on the outside of the spaceship, and it just absorbs it. What, they couldn't have just poured all the gold on the ship and just taken off? They had to smelt it? They had to turn it into circuitry? Or was that just pageantry?
You know what I'm going to say to you, right?
Suspension of disbelief only goes so far.
That's your problem with this episode?
It is. That's too much. Time traveling alien from another planet who can regenerate, totally okay. Shooting a golden arrow onto the outside of the lunar lander module that makes it go, like, that's too much.
Damn it, Matt. I'm a podcaster, not a
scientist. So true. I have no idea. I don't know. It just, these little MacGuffins are fine. It was a fun episode, but it just...
I have those every so often. I'm like, no, how does that work?
Wait just a minute.
All right, well, final thoughts. I thought this episode was great. Actually, I think it was my favorite so far. I just enjoyed watching it the whole time. I felt like he was more doctor-y than he's ever been. And, you know, maybe I like the funnier stuff better. I don't know. But I felt like this had this sort of a better story, and it had a lot of good doctor-y moments. than in the past couple episodes. I feel like if we're going to get any sort of picture of what kind of Doctor he's going to be by the end of his thing, like this was a more clear picture than we've had in the last couple episodes. So I really enjoyed it, and it redeemed Mark Gatiss for me from the prison. So.
Well, those are good final thoughts. I think you're right. This one had more action and adventure in it. This one had more. It had less drama. I don't mean drama like drama. I mean drama like in Into the Dalek. There's so much of just the Doctor not doing anything.
Yeah,
sort of bumbling around because they could. And it wasn't even good bumbling. It was bad bumbling. It was bumbling with a purpose to make everything seem more dramatic. And this had less of that. This had more action. This had more. Okay, now if we're going to do Robin Hood, let's do Robin Hood. Let's do the archery contest. Let's get everyone involved in the archery contest. Hey, that was something we hadn't seen before. Yeah. I don't know. I felt like this one was a little more amped up, a little more exciting. Felt a lot more like what we've already seen with Smith and Tennant, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. Better transitions from point A to point B. Like they went to the archery contest, and then they got captured, and then Clara was interrogated, and then they found the spaceship, and then you know what I mean. It was better. I felt like the plot moved a little faster than into the Dalek. I felt like when they got into the Dalek, they were just there, and you're right. They bumbled around trying to figure some stuff out. They didn't really do much.
Right.
Until the very end, and we have a plane. We gotta go up there,
But you can also see there's a world of difference when you pick a good writer. Okay, Deep Breath was good and it was moving. There was a lot of drama to it, but it was also very interesting because Stephen Moffat wrote it, and Moffat is a writer. He is good at what he does. Mark Gatiss wrote this, and there is a level of writing that Gatiss reaches that you can see why he is who he is. Nothing against Phil Ford. I think his episodes are okay. I think they're good. I'm glad he's writing for Doctor Who. But you can definitely tell the difference. Phil Ford is... he's a step back. He's a step down. He's a pinch hitter. He's not the guy you lead with. Gatiss is. Moffat is. So Into the Dalek was written by one of their junior writers. It's just the way... That's how it feels. That's how it is. Because he does not have Moffat or Gatiss's smoothed out skill. He does not have their touches. It does not have their style.
Yeah, it doesn't
it's
mean
not
it's
bad.
bad.
It's just you can definitely tell the difference.
It amps the other ones up much more. You can tell the other ones are so. You can tell the quality.
Given time, Ford will have his writing there. Given time, his episodes will have a style that reeks of him, which is good. It'll have a pacing which works a lot better. He will get there, and that's great. I'm glad they're giving him this chance. But you can see the difference between Deep Breath and Robot of Sherwood. Great episodes on their own strengths. You can see how much better they were or are compared to Into the Dalek. Yeah. And that's a big deal too. Maybe not leading in a season.
Yeah.
Put your best foot forward. Let episodes 5 and 6 be slow.
Yeah, I feel like this Into the Dalek could have been one that was like after there's always a mid-season. There always used to be kind of a mid-season finale, and it was like something really exciting happened right in the middle, and then there were always some filler episodes near the end. Into the Dalek could have been one of those.
Into the Dalek could have fallen in anywhere. They put it up front because they put it up front. He wanted to do Daleks right away.
Yeah. The other thing about this episode too is it was so lighthearted. We were so worried that it was going to be after Deep Breath and Into the Dalek, and they've been saying it for so long. This is a more serious Doctor Who. It's more serious Doctor Who. I was glad to see that they're not going too serious.
Yeah.
This solidified that this is still the same great show. So
yes.
I really enjoyed this episode. Best one so far.
Absolutely. I would agree 100%. And for anyone out there who, you guys, you're all fans. That's why you're listening to our podcast. But if you have people who are interested in getting into Doctor Who And we're always looking for that episode, that one episode that we can say, okay, here it is. Here's that episode. We can show them Blink, and that's something different. We'll get them on board with that. And honestly, I think this is going to be the Capaldi episode that we show people.
Oh yeah, this is very, it's very close-ended, so it could go anywhere, and it's just one of those random adventures, so this could totally be one where you could just show it and hey, this is what the show's about.
I agree. Yeah.
Well,
sir, it is time for something.
It is time for that thing.
What's it called?
It's called. Oh my God, that promo!
Oh my God, that promo!
Oh my God. So.
Oh my God.
Episode 4. Listen.
Is it just me, or is this possibly one of the best ideas for an episode ever?
Well, here's my thing. I have no idea what this episode's going to be about.
Well, I meant from the synopsis, but yes. Okay, no, I meant from the synopsis. Yeah. The synopsis, the idea that this is an episode about, it's an episode about what happens when we're alone, and that we're not really alone. And I think that is just a phenomenally scary idea.
Oh yeah, I feel like this episode's going to be really freaking creepy. Okay, the hands coming out from the bed. Kids are going to wet their pants watching this episode.
This is going to be one of those I don't show my son.
I'm going to wet my pants.
It's just... Yeah, I will too. We saw a piece of this episode, but we didn't see it from this trailer. We saw this from the season trailer, the series trailer, with him sitting on top of the TARDIS, and he goes, "Listen," and that's obviously clearly that's going to be a part of this episode. And God, I hope that leads right into the opening, because that's such a good smash cut right there. It's everything about this episode, just everything in that promo just reeks of it's going to scare the crap out of me.
I mean, I have no idea. Okay, the one thing that's really crazy is we see Danny Pink in this. But he's wearing a spacesuit.
He's wearing a particular spacesuit, sir.
He's wearing that orange-looking spacesuit that we've seen before. His hair is bigger. He's got a beard. He looks like he's been through some stuff.
He's older.
He looks older. What's going on?
And everything they've been saying...
Last we saw, he was just at the school, working with Clara. Maybe he was going to take her on a date or something.
Right, now he's old man Pink.
Yeah.
Having traveled with the Doctor.
And there's a little black boy, too, in the trailer, and I think that might be him, too. So maybe we'll get a little backstory on him as a child.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know.
Everything about this season is about mystery, and this is going to be a good episode. We can't even really talk about the promo because we don't even know what we're seeing. They're just images, and
there's a spaceship door. It says "Do not open." There's, from what I can remember, I know hands coming out from the bed. Old Danny Pink. I mean, and Clara's in this too. Not sure what she's doing. She's not really with the Doctor. Looks like there's a kid she's trying to help, and I don't know.
Like tutor him?
I don't know, maybe. And then monsters appear.
It's just all the stuff's going on with the Doctor and Danny Pink, and it just cuts over to her sitting in the classroom. Now let's take a look at your sums homework. And they pull it in. Okay, now what is 8 plus A? I don't know. And it comes back to the Doctor. She looks at the camera and goes, "Listen." It's back to the Doctor.
So yeah, I don't. What is the? Do you remember the synopsis for this? What?
So according to Stephen Moffat, the synopsis goes: "What scares the grand old man of time? What horrors lurk under his bed? Ghosts of the past and future crowd into the lives of the Doctor and Clara, a terrified caretaker in a children's home, the last man standing in the universe, and a little boy who doesn't want to join the army?
Danny Pink.
Danny Pink. Could it be Danny Pink?
Little boy does not want to join the army. And he even could be the last man standing in the universe in his spacesuit. Something happens.
He could be the terrified caretaker. He could be all three. The ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future.
Yeah. This one sounds really interesting. I'm interested to see they release clips throughout the week. I'm interested to see those and get a hint of what's going to happen. So,
this is a very exciting time to be Doctor Who fan. This promo is a perfect example of we don't know what's going to happen. We really have no clue. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I feel like they haven't given us a lot of information this season. I mean, they have a little bit, but I feel like last season we kind of knew what every episode was about almost. Ice Warrior on a submarine. Journey to the center of the TARDIS. A lot of them were pretty self-explanatory. Oh, there's going to be some Cybermen attacking a theme park. Oh, there's going to be,
Yeah.
These episodes, I have no idea. Kill the moon? No idea. Kill the moon? What does that mean?
Clearly, the moon's in the way. It's blocking the view of other things in space.
Yeah.
We shoot a missile at it.
Come on. I'm trying to get to the promised land. Get that moon out of the way.
Out of the way. Damn moon. Your tide-controlling powers.
This is a Strax only episode. Kill the
moon. Madame Bastro walks in. Strax, what are you doing? Nothing, madam. For the glory of the Centauran Empire, I'm trying to weaponize the moon. All right, Strax.
All right.
This is good, man. All right, listen. I am excited for Listen. I don't know about the rest of you out there. I hope you are too. Join us again next week when we sufficiently have to change our pants.
Yes. We will. We'll talk about specifically the amounts, the color. We'll go into details.
Oh, that's great. We'll be very science. He says he's not a scientist, folks, but we are. We monitor all of our bodily fluids.
Yes, yes. And
we'll let you know.
In case you all missed it, please go check out any of our pages. Tumblr page.
Oh, yes.
Our YouTube page would be a great place to go. And check out our new monthly podcast. Episode 15.
The new voice, starting with episode 15.
Yes, talking about my regenerations.
Talk about my regenerations. It is something great.
It is. We are very proud of it, and I hope you guys will go check it out. We got skits, we got news, we got Classic Who reviews.
Woo!
It's good, people.
I don't want to spoil anything, but Gallifrey has returned, guys. Way in the future, of course, but we are there for their one night only red carpet event.
Yes, some interviews.
You never know who will show up. You never know who will show up.
You slide devil. All right, guys.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening, and forsooth.
Fortnite and Balderdash.
Fortnite and Haberdasher. Is that
Balderdash?
Oh, okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye, and don't forget to listen.
Listen.
Voices from the Vortex is written, edited by, and starring Matthew Whitecamp and Taylor Davidson.
With Danielle Davidson as the sexy voice of the TARDIS.
Theme music composed by Brian Wurst.
Visit our website, www.broadcastgallifrey.com.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel for an enhanced podcast experience.
Follow us on Twitter, @Vortex Podcast.
Like us on Facebook.
Follow us on Tumblr and Google+.
Subscribe to us on iTunes, and if you like what you heard, leave a review.
Ask us a fan question through any of these media, and we'll answer it on the podcast.
Thanks for listening, and stay tuned to the Vortex.